there are countless logical reasons why the Guardianship Program is not a good idea. But I want to focus on one that is a little less cold and academic. That is why I asked the question of how guns in schools make you feel. It is easy to forget how personal of a problem the gun issue is, not only for those immediately affected, but for an entire community. First a family, then a school, perhaps a neighborhood. Now with the impending expansion of the Guardianship Program, it becomes a personal problem for all of us. For every student, for every parent with a child in school, it is personal. For example, I go to a public school in downtown Miami. I have anxiety, sometimes panic attacks induced by grades, test taking, college applications, and all other junior year stressors that students everywhere are subject to. Imagine now that my teachers are carrying guns. Teachers are symbols of trust. They are educators and caretakers, and they are in a position of power. As defined by Professor Margaret Himley, power is a multiplicity of force relations that are immanent, constitutive, relational, and dynamic. In other words, power in the classroom and everywhere else is controlled by several different factors based on the relationship between the powerful person and the less powerful. Research demonstrates that students who have positive relationships and power dynamics with their teachers are more likely to thrive in the school environment. When you place a gun into the hands of a teacher, you immediately toxify that system. You break the trust in the relationship. It becomes less a relationship of mutual respect and more a relationship of control and fear. The students are aware that their teacher is now not only in control of their grades but their lives, even if it be in a way that promotes quote-unquote guardianship rather than the authoritarian environment this program promises. Giving that responsibility to teachers is unfair to both them and their students. Teachers are educators, counselors, sources of information, and sometimes disciplinarians. They are not security guards. How do you promote a peaceful, safe environment in the midst of lethal weapons? Is that not blatant hypocrisy? From my own perspective, there is no way that I could focus on pre-calculus or AP US history when one of my teachers, the very person I am supposed to trust, is carrying a gun, a weapon that could kill me. No amount of training or knowledge can free me of my fear in that situation. I say this as a Latinx white female. Imagine how a black male student would feel. A black child who is aware that he is 14 times more likely to be shot and killed by a gun than any child of other race. A study published in 2014 in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that black kids 10 years old and older are more likely to be viewed as significantly less innocent than white kids by their teachers. Additionally, in a study by Maybe Jr., it was found that race/ethnicity of both student and teacher affects student-teacher connections and perceived care. In fact, the most common teacher discrimination is tied to in-class discipline. This is especially common among African American and Latinx students. Knowing this, do you then want to give a gun to a teacher? Or to any teacher for that matter? There is systematic racism everywhere, and that is not an issue that we can solve overnight. You cannot slap a Guardianship Program mandate on the national bleeding wound that is inequality and racism. When you put guns into the hands of teachers, you create a system of oppression. You oppress the minority students who know they are constantly being villainized, whether it be consciously or unconsciously. You oppress all students under the profound stress of knowing their educator could kill them. You oppress students by limiting their future, their learning capability. You oppress their parents, who send them to school with the intention of being in a safe environment. You are taking away students' rights to free and peaceful education when you militarize their educators. The Guardianship Program is a means of oppression. If there is one thing that my generation has proven, it is that we do not respond well to being oppressed, to being silenced. We do not submit, we shout louder. We know the value of our voices. We respect our voices. That is why I had you all write down your thoughts and feelings when you walked in today. I want to value the importance of your feelings and passions. These are what drive this movement. Never let anyone tell you that emotions are irrelevant. Emotions are the fuel to the fire of our revolution. We are past the point of prevention in this situation, but that does not mean that all hope is lost. We simply move to the next step, protest. We must protest. When I say protest, I don't mean aggression or argument. The best way to change minds is to touch hearts. I encourage all of you to go out and make connections with people who feel, think, and vote differently from you. Allow yourself the strength of vulnerability that comes with making your feelings heard. The only way to educate someone is to form a connection with them. So please, go out, form relationships, and educate people so that we, the students, can maintain healthy, positive, and peaceful relationships with our educators. Thank you.